Well, we've come a long way this week. Bitcoin has hit a new all-time high. Big Pepe has taken the meme world by storm, and Alex has gone full degen. This is the Rise Up Morning Show. Good now, everybody. My name is Evan, and I'm so glad that you're here. Thank you for tuning in. This is March 7th. Seems like it should be later, but here we are. I can't believe this much of the year has already gone, and what a year it has been. We've been glad to have you along on the ride, and if you're tuning in for the first time, then you are in the right place. If you're curious about cryptocurrency, if you're curious about blockchain, if you're a little bit skeptical, you really don't think this stuff lives up to the hype, or you want to understand what it's about beyond the hype, welcome to the show. My colleague Alex and I have been here since 2017. We've been working in this space for the last, almost 4 years now. And we would love to help you demystify crypto, NFTs, and understand why this stuff really matters. So leave us your questions below. Let us know if there's something you'd like us to dive into. Thursday is our random show day, though it seems like this whole week has been a random show. We'll hit the headlines. We'll give you some updates on some of the things we've been talking about, and then do a nice little recap, put stuff together, check into the projects you'd like us to look at, and just generally have a great time before we send it off to the weekend. I see Dave is here. I see Mary is here. Thank you guys so much for joining. And here comes the man of the hour. Do us a favor and give the screen a tap. Send it to a friend if you think the show is valuable. It certainly helps us. And then just let us know where you're tuning in from, especially if it's your first time. Alex, man, how you doing today?
Oh, not bad. Just ready to go.
Ready to go, man. I hear it. I hear it. I am just putting some finishing touches on our POAP.
All
And
right.
you know what I forgot to do though is I forgot to send it to myself so I can put it as a little background and you can do the secret word spiel. Um, Alex, for people who don't know, I think you're looking a lot better than I was anticipating. I kind of half expected Alex to show up kind of looking like that second version you did of Big Pepe with the red eyes and the Bitcoin on his chest. Because, man, let me tell you what, after the show Monday, I feel like Alex has gone through a full circle evolution from a guy who couldn't really care less about what meme tokens are doing to a man whose daily bread is becoming abundant because of his meme trading. What did you do last night after I left? I saw the chat and I saw that you had watched the Solana Arcade a little bit, but I didn't know if you had any big wins or anything like that, or big losses or wild adventures.
No, I mean the nature of the beast with these teeny tiny little, risky. It's a slot machine, is what it is.
Totally.
Um, I was up late playing the slots, and this thing is so teeny tiny, and I mean, like here, let me. So there's less than $100,000 worth of liquidity. So
We're
any
back down 100.
yes, it's 87.
I better go buy some.
Um, any the so in light of the last video that I just posted last night about liquidity specifically, any single big whale who comes in and sells, liquidity's gone, right? And then the whole thing's going to just bottom. Um, so that is the inherent risk, which is why I was staring at it closely, because you got to move quick, or otherwise this thing could disappear at any second. And that's really the risk that you're taking. If you send it on one of these things, you got to do it with money that you're comfortable with disappearing. And I've never really sat down and tried before, just because it is risky. But I figured, you know what, I'll stick one single soul into these garbage, teeny tiny caps. I won't even call them low caps.
Yeah, teeny tiny.
Got like $1 million market cap. And just see what happens. And I've turned one soul into 5 soul now, just flipping it, because by a minute by minute basis, this thing is swinging by 20, 30, 40% without even trying, because the liquidity is so small. So I figured, actually, Evan, it's a good thing to bring up, because I got some questions on that video, so we can kind of go into a little bit more detail about like what influences the liquidity, what adds to it, what takes out of it. And because it's not just as simple as it's the money that's available to be cashed out. There's some nuance there, but anyway, yeah. So that's what I was messing with last night.
Well, hey man, I was having a fun time with it too, and we were doing a evening meeting talking about show stuff, and when Alex pulled up the dashboard, in the moments I was watching it, I was like, oh, it's been down for, I don't know if I recoup my losses. I bought it at $1.20. I bought a lottery ticket like Alex at $1.20, and it was down at, like, I don't know, 30, and then it was up to 50, and then it was up to 80, and I was like, oh, okay, I can sell mine here. That's great. The market cap's so low, everyone's gone. The liquidity's gone, I thought. And then Alex was like, no, dude, it's literally seconds later. Alex said, no, dude, it's ripping. It's at 130. Yeah, 150. I was like, are you kidding me? So we had a lot of fun just watching the 1 minute candles back and forth for a minute, but it's not for the faint of heart, and definitely not something you should do with more than your chump change. So
yeah. Plus, but you can tell too, that as this thing gains some traction, more and more bot traders were popping up inside of the transaction list. So that the more of those come in there, the harder and harder it's going to be for you to catch those swinging wicks, because software is quicker than you. It's the same thing like, getting eBay sniped. And anyway, it was literally going so quickly that sometimes I would see a price, I'm like, yep, that's a buy, yep, that's a sell. And by the time I would click over one single tab on my browser to the swap, it was already gone. It was already 20% the other direction. And, no longer was I interested in doing it that way. So, it is, I mean, for lack of a better term, it is literally just playing a slot machine,
Absolutely. The upside, of course, is, the friends we made along the way. So thank you all for being here and being our friends, and letting us hang out with you. And of course, to commemorate this wild week, we had to do a POAP featuring none other than Big Pepe. So Alex did this awesome number. Check this out.
Yes.
And obviously, once you get yours, you'll be able to kind of zoom out and you'll see the whole full thing. But there he is in all his glory, swimming in the meme coin money. This collectible can be yours if you listen for the secret word. Alex, you want to give them a quick spiel if they're new? A POAP is our free NFT. It's a gift, totally free to you, a little piece of collectible art so you can start using this text. But what is it, Alex? And how do they get it?
All right. So POAP stands for Proof of Attendance Protocol, which is just a fancy, nerdy way of telling you that it's a token you can get to prove that you did something. This is one of those cool use cases for NFTs. So you can do a thing, celebrate the fact that you did a thing, and memorialize the fact that you did the thing by putting proof of the thing you did on a blockchain forever. They are completely free. You don't need to do anything. You don't need to remember a 24-word seed phrase or back up a wallet or, pay for gas or any of that crap. All you need to do is go to poap.xyz, POAP.xyz, or you can download the app from the App Store. I think it's on both iPhone and Android. It's just called POAP. This is what the website looks like, so you are looking at the right thing.
Yeah, they have a fun website.
Big old homepage, and that's the URL, poap.xyz. So go there, make a free wallet that they will custody for you, until such a time that you are ready to take matters into your own hands, or you never have to. And then there are different ways that you can mint. So we use secret word, and the way that you do it. Actually, you know what? I always just describe it, but while we're standing right
You're
here,
gonna show it today?
let's just show it, because why not? Okay. Turn around. There we go.
And while Alex is pulling up, someone asked what network are POAPs on. They are on the Gnosis network, which you can add to your MetaMask wallet, but they have a self-custody wallet for you too. L2.
Okay, so here is the TFM Discord. This is our Discord, discord.gg/themany. And if you come over here, don't worry, you can see a few more channels on my side than you would normally. But this channel right here, up in the top in the important category, hit the old bot hub. This is what the channel looks like. Scroll up, and there's this embedded text block that kind of just gives you some stuff that you can do. All you're looking for is this gray button down here that says POAP. Hit POAP. You're going to get this little text box that pops up. And when Evan gives it to you, you'll type in the secret word right here. All lowercase, no spaces, no funny business. Just, if the secret word is pineapple, just write pineapple right here and hit submit. And it will close that, scroll you down, and you'll see a little embedded message just for you that pops up with a link to POAP. You can click on that link, which will take you to POAP, and it will mint you your free NFT that has a JPEG attached to it. The one that Evan has behind his face right there on his screen. Pepe swimming in a pool of Pepe money.
That's right. Listen for the secret word that I'm going to give a little later in the show. And you, my friend, yes, you can mint your very own collectible POAP. It's a great way to prove you were here at the show. And we've been talking about some cool ways to integrate the POAPs very soon in some of the stuff that we are that we're building. Somebody asked a good question about, does the Gnosis network fall under or above any of the following? Like, where in the blockchain hierarchy does it fall? It's an EVM network, and I actually think it might be that they have ERC20. Let me see.
Evan,
I can tell you exactly.
This is not a bad. We could do a little peek into it, because I've used it copiously for all of my POAP stuff. But I just let POAP handle my custody, because I haven't, felt the need to do anything with those yet. But I've never really looked into Gnosis, so maybe we could just pull it up and we can riff about it.
Yeah, absolutely. And now that I've got some good research here, I can tell you the story that I did not know. Gnosis was founded by Martin Koppelman and Stefan George. They were the CEO and CTO, and it initially launched as a prediction market platform. It was one of the very first projects supported by Consensus, the incubator. These guys, they had done economics like academia before they started doing this. Koppelman created Circles, which is a crypto token that was built on Ethereum. That was after UBI kind of experiment. Gnosis raised 250,000 ETH in an ICO for GNO. How interesting. And they use a protocol called COW, but I can't seem to find what the COW stands for.
Yeah, just pulled up the home page. Why do I feel like this is the chain for hippies? Doesn't the homepage just give you like environmentalist vibes with the subtle pastel earthy tones?
I was reading about it on Kraken. What's the homepage? Is it Gnosis DAO something?
Nope, it is just gnosis.io. GNOSIS.io. And like Deal Finder says, their opening line, one of the first Ethereum sidechains, and it has stayed true to its values. And they have some
cute
basic stuff there. Definitely some mid-journeying on the art here. Love it. They've managed to keep a very nice, consistent theme on their renders, though. That's pretty sweet. Some basic stuff, quick and easy add to MetaMask. So I actually just went ahead and did that. Got some information about becoming
Check
a
this out.
validator, governance focus.
Over 140,000 validators, which is a pretty significant number, I would say,
That's
for any
pretty, yeah.
decentralized network. That's big.
That's
I don't
not
remember what
nothing at
Chia
all.
had, because someone was telling us a couple of weeks ago that Chia is, got more validators than any other, is the most decentralized by number of validators. But this is a big number.
Yeah, this is not nothing.
That's pretty cool.
And then they've got some of their popular dApps down at the bottom you can go out to. POAP is number one.
Yeah.
They're
And I
hiring.
actually think there's an interview. I don't know who it's with. I remember listening to it a while ago. It's an older interview with Patricio Worthalter, who is the founder of POAP, and he talks a little bit about why they decided to build on Gnosis. And I think part of it was to do with the accessibility. They use the DAI stablecoin,
Mm-hmm.
and there's like a faucet that you can use. So pretty much your gas is covered by like the faucet on Gnosis.
Mm-hmm.
And I also think it had to do with the fact that Patricio, he was an early Bitcoin guy, and I think got quite fortunate with his investments, and was part of building some of this. It looks like there were a lot of adjacent projects in the era of the Ethereum sidechain, like 2017 or so, when we were like just getting into it, kind of thing. People who were, making the first wave of stuff kind of stuck together, it seems like, which makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, I just saw here at the top of their website they have a link to their faucet. So you can even it looks like the faucet is not running right now.
Somebody call a plumber.
I don't know, it errors me out if I try to go to the faucet, so I'll make a note to come back and check that later.
We could have this show is not sponsored by Gnosis, but it certainly could be.
It could be.
It certainly could be. Resilience and credible neutrality are Gnosis core values. Very cool. And Deal Finder, you seem. I can't tell if you're just a knowledgeable person or you're just quick with the fingers on research. Not to undercut you in that sense, but thanks for the question and then the tips. That was good. Do you want to, since you mentioned it, you want to talk a little more about why liquidity isn't maybe as simple as we've cast it to be, and show people? I pulled
Yeah.
up on the other side of this some real time. I pulled up the Soulcade on Coin Market Cap so people could see in real time. It's not that active right now, I feel like, um, but just see. I don't know. Maybe $1,000 order will come through and move the price 10 cents, and somebody can see like, oh,
Mhm.
that's what's happening. Um, In fact,
Yeah.
if you want to segue to that, that's what I'll do as a way of segue. This is just put yourself, pretend you're Alex for a second. You've got a glorious beard. Dogs everywhere love you, and you are sitting down at your desk for a moment of quiet with Evan to like really plan, the next stuff for the show, and then you open your trading dashboard. I'm looking at Coin Market Cap. I don't know what you were looking at, but
Well, whatever I would be looking at would be in dark mode because I'm not a psychopath.
listen, pal. Listen. Mine switches to dark mode after dark. Um, yeah, you see, it's like so unactive right now. It stayed at 122 for this is almost 30 seconds now. But I want you to imagine that orders are coming in and out, buying and selling. You can see here if you're actively trading something, it's important to have a dashboard you really like and are familiar with, because you can see how much is being traded at any given time. Oh, there we go. We just got an order, 29 Soulcade, so not that much, $36. The total liquidity here is 88,000. Last night this was about 100,000, and we were probably getting, I would say, an order a second.
Mm-hmm.
And this was just bopping, bopping, green, red, green, red. And if you got an order in this pool, that was even $1,000, it would cause this price to move a couple of cents.
Yeah.
You can get a sense here. This is another style of dashboard that CoinMarketCap does that is interesting and helpful. It tells you for the last 24 hours how many sell orders there have been, how many buys, what the volume of each was. Looks like we've had a little more sell pressure in the last 24. This is about what it was yesterday too, I would say. But it's just interesting to me. It's clearly a fight right now in this token's life for people to push the price up or down. Um, I wish it was more active, only so that you could get a sense of the flavor of how frenzied it was. But
Yeah.
Alex, what do you want to dive into on this on the topic of trading Soulcade or meme coins or on liquidity? What
Let's
were you
just use
thinking?
this one as an example. Can you go to the Dex Tools page for it?
Yes, absolutely. Give me 2 seconds. I'm gonna say bye bye to Gnosis. Look at their cute green and brown website. We'll go to Dex Tools. A reminder, this show is not sponsored by Dex Tools, but it could be.
It
Dex
could
Tools
be.
is a great free tool that you can use to just check out any token, just about any chain you want. Let's check out Soulcade.
Yep. So we're gonna use Dex Tools because their little dashboard for every single one of these things just gives you literally the most important information for the project in one tiny little snapshot, and it's just very nicely organized.
Yep.
So if you'll, scroll down and expand that to more info, please.
But of course.
So starting from the top, obviously market cap is the total valuation of every token in circulation at its current price. It has nothing to do with how much money is like in the project. So in that sense, market cap is a little bit misleading. Liquidity is the amount of money that is in this pool. So what I mean by pool is that this token does not have a pairing with everything, right? So the way that you trade cryptocurrency is you have to have one thing and then you can trade it for another. But in order to make that trade, there has to exist a pool wherein you can actually swap token A for token B. So in this case, the pool that we're looking at is Solana, the main cryptocurrency Sol, and Soulcade, this little tiny degenerate gambling coin. So the pool that we're looking at here is Soulcade. And you can swap from Soulcade to Sol or from Sol to Soulcade, provided that there is enough liquidity for you to do so. So the total amount of liquidity, including both Solana and Soulcade in the pool, totals $88,560. If you look down to the bottom two rows there's pooled Sol and pooled Soulcade. That's how much of each of those things exists inside of this liquidity pool. So in the pool, there is 36,000 Soulcade and there is 311 Solana. If you added up the US dollar equivalency price of both of those amounts, you would get $88,560, giving you the total liquidity for this pool. So if you have one of those two tokens, you can trade for the other one, provided you're doing so within the limits of however much is available in the pool itself. So if you have Soulcade and you want to trade for Solana, but you have allegedly, 400 Sol worth of Soulcade, you are shit out of luck. There's nothing you can do about it. In this particular instance, actually, it's a little imbalanced on the Sol side versus the Soulcade side, which just means that more people who have Soulcade are holding on to the token, hoping it's going to go up higher. So they're not pooling it. They're not trading with it. Now, you can influence the number of Sol or Soulcade on either side of this pool by doing several different things. Basically, there's three things you can do. You can either trade in and out of the pool, thus contributing whatever you're doing to whatever side of the liquidity pool your token would be going to. If I'm selling Soulcade, it's going to that side. If I'm selling Solana, it's going to that side. Or you can, through a DEX, a decentralized exchange like Radium, the one that many people use when they're trading on Solana, you can provide liquidity, which means you can loan your soul or soulcade or both to this pool. Usually, you will earn interest for doing that, and it can be quite lucrative to do this. However, with a pool like this one specifically, providing liquidity is risky, because if I go ahead and I provide liquidity, I add some Solana and I add some Soulcade to this pool to make it juicier, to make it healthier, to hopefully incentivize trading and allow myself to earn some money from all of the trades that happen using my liquidity, which would be the same thing as me providing a loan and charging interest for it, which is how banks make money. That's kind of the whole DeFi thing. You get to be the bank. The risk that I take by doing that is that, there could be a bank run on this token and liquidity could get drained by bots or by individuals trading in and out of it, really imbalanced to one side or another. And if you do that, you run the risk of losing the liquidity that you have put in, or ending up with an imbalance of liquidity that you have put in. So we can get into liquidity providing specifically, because that's kind of like an entire topic in and of itself, but that's sort of like a little toe dip into what it is. And the other thing you can do is be a market maker, which is more, that's not really the one that you're going to be. That would be, someone who wants to support the specific pool by simply contributing money to the pool to support it. Typically, the market maker would be like the project or one of the project's founders, or like some big investor who wants to see it succeed. So they provide some liquidity to the pool to make it more appealing and attractive to investors, that kind of stuff. But it is also risky, because you can provide liquidity to a pool, especially something like this, by, market making. Evan could decide he wants to market make and add 500 SOL to this, which would hugely increase the liquidity available on this particular pool. However, in seeing that big liquidity spike, one, price would probably go up, and two, somebody who has a lot of Soulcade might see that huge spike in liquidity and be like, dude, it's my time to shine. I'm taking that shit, and sell a shitload of it, draining it, crashing the price, and losing liquidity. So it's usually not done for little tiny things like this. You would see it be done for, the big ones with millions and millions of dollars of liquidity, and usually for something in return. So that is, I guess, probably a good nutshell version. Evan, note the timestamp, because that's a good one to clip. But
yeah, absolutely.
There you go.
And I also, while you were talking about this, because that's exactly where I was going to go, looking at the pool, I opened a tab for this pool. Oh, it didn't take me to the pool. Well, it probably was just going to take me to the SoulScan page. Maybe. Yeah, I guess it just took me to, here we go, pools. You can see the pool itself if you want to contribute, was my point. And you can also see from this page, you can find the pairing. Any dashboard you're using will probably have a similar layout. You'll note that this one looks a lot like the CoinMarketCap dashboard. It's even got the orders coming in and out. Something Alex and I were talking about the other day is I love the little icon, the little shrimpy. When the order is small, you get a guppy. If it's a bigger order, it looks like a lot of shrimp trading. There's a guppy. You might have a dolphin or a whale. And of course, they're red and green. Definitely. Let me take this real quick, flip it back to my camera, and make a note of that timestamp. Yeah, that was excellent, Alex. If you were listening to that, you got a really good masterclass in about 3 minutes on liquidity. Yeah, that was swell, man. Daniel, what's the pitch on catfish? Because Alex and I are looking for excuses probably to stay up late and turn 10 pennies into $3. Oh my gosh. I'm gonna say that clip starts at about 27 minutes.
I mean, I don't know what you expected Daniel to say, but that's exactly that's
Look at the graph right now.
It's a shitcoin.
Oh, I'm sure it is. Is it in relation to Soulcade? Is it bigger or smaller?
It's bigger. It's a little bigger. Well, it's interesting because the market cap is smaller. There's more holders, but there is more liquidity.
Okay, hang on. I will go back to Soulcade. You pop up. Are you looking on Dex Tools?
Yep.
Okay, let's do a side by side of the rundown, just so we can show people. Like, obviously, if you're investing in these tokens, you don't do it. But if you're buying a gambling ticket, this is like how I would ask myself. If I only had 50 cents to throw into one of these things, let's see what we've learned, and could we do it?
This is the same thing as buying a scratcher at the gas station. Just
Web3 Jim said, I said we'd turn our 3 pennies into 10 dimes. He said, I'm good at turning 10 dimes into 3 pennies.
hey man, I can guarantee you that I can make that trade every time.
Every time. Buy
Every
low,
time.
sell high. Am I right? Yeah.
All right, so here we've got a couple notable, obvious differences. So one, actually, here's a good thing to point out. If you look at the circulating supply, see how there's this little warning and you can hover over it and it gives you a little tooltip. So the circulating supply was reported by the tokens team. This is basically just letting you know that, hey, some of this information we're kind of taking their word for right now, that this is all of the circulating supply is going to be. So it's a pink flag, small red flag. There's more flags that you can find on Dex Tools too. They give you like a score for lots of projects. For a little shitcoin, 87 is actually pretty decent. Obviously it is still not without its risks, but if we pull up the audits, it kind of gives you like a little snapshot as to how they arrived to that score. Did someone verify that the contract exists and it does what it advertises? Yes. Is this a honeypot? They're saying no. However, there are still unknowns. And Daniel might be able to tell you a little bit more about like why some of these things remain unknown, because I've personally never seen one of these things on one of these shitcoins be known. But there's just a few other things. So, is it mintable? Yes, Lisa, we're both off point, right at the moment. Okay, Daniel doesn't know why. That means nobody knows why. It's a great mystery. One of life's great mysteries. If you know why, write in and let us know. Anyway, as you can see here, there's tons of unknowns. All that sort of stuff. So not without risks. These things are super risky. Probably a Solana. Okay, so it could be a Solana thing. Let me come back here. Anyway.
Okay, now since we did a little comparison there, I also did a poll. I need to know who has the steadier camera. Is it me or is it Alex? And to be fair, it wasn't a very fair poll. I am like holding my breath to try and hold this camera steady, but maybe. What do you mean, Alex? Come on, listen, man.
Evan, you can't.
What would the show be without a meaningless poll? If you want to vote for me and make me feel just a little bit better today, you can tap this thing right up here. And if you want to help us support the show, you can tap the screen. Or if you're watching on YouTube, you can leave a comment. And if you're watching on YouTube, I want to let you know we're here Monday through Thursday, 4 days a week, 7 a.m. Central Standard Time. We would love to have you join the show live. Thank you to everybody who's here right now hanging out with us. I really appreciate it. And Alex, what do you what are you thinking next week's theme should be? We had talked about maybe taking a little break to focus on administrative stuff and launching the newsletter. But I don't know. What do you think? What do you think? Do we need it?
I mean,
do we roll
maybe.
through?
I'm kind of good playing it by ear. I think we'll be here Monday, and we'll know by Monday like if we're gonna pause a day, we'll know which day that's going to be. But
that's a good idea.
I think, like we were saying yesterday, I really just want to get the other stuff up and running. I want to make sure that the YouTube is a little bit more squared away so someone can find stuff instead of having to scrub through an hour and a half long recording of the live. So we talked to Mihir last night, or his this morning, about getting that kind of stuff going. So I'm excited to get those up and running. want to get the free newsletter rolling so that people can get kind of the bite-sized snapshot of the week if they, are unable to attend a day or they miss a week or whatever. You'll get that kind of little pamphlet, easy to digest and go through. And then also, I guess in other news, the old U.S. government is taking another crack at banning TikTok. So getting something not on this platform up and running is probably a good thing. Will it happen? Who knows? But hard to say. So real quick, because this is off topic. Back to the memes for just a second. Shared delusions brings up a good point. So Cock Inu, fucking phenomenal. The Dex tool score on that one is 99 out of 99. If you look up some of the big ones, so at this point, that one has become a staple. Like that one is just massively popular. I don't even know what the numbers are. I'm going to pull it up here. That's an avalanche. That's the big avalanche meme right now.
Yeah, we were talking to Joe about that last night. And another one that he found, Colvin.
Yeah. So $5.5 million of liquidity. Almost a $300 million market cap. Bigger buys and sells on that one. So that one, sitting at 99. But if you were to go, over to Ethereum and pull up Doge and Pepe and Shib, like these things are also gonna be up. In that like 99 out of 99 region. And it's just because they're huge. They have huge holder pools. These things are still inherently risky, but some of the risk that is present in a $100,000 market cap crypto, which is that like one dude can come in here and sell his bag and just drain liquidity and send the thing into a tailspin that goes to zero, or that it was just launched, by two nerds to prove a point. And, they're like, you know what, fuck this. And they just give up and shut it down. These are all risks. Getting rugged is easier on a little unverified, untested thing that's 2 days old, all that sort of stuff. So just, it's not to say that these things are like good investments necessarily, these giant memes, just because they have a higher DEX tool score. It just means that they've passed through a few more hurdles of verification. But I will give it to you. It is funny as hell. There's no doubt.
Absolutely. Alex, in other news, I just sent you a couple of links for the POAP links are here, and once again the bot is refusing to give me its services. So I wonder if you try copy pasting that. To see if we can get our POAPs going. And yes, I said to Tori, thank you so much. After we get off today, our plan is to spend a little more time kind of streamlining those things in order. It's tough. I want to thank Tori for volunteering to kind of share thoughts, help wrangle some of our loose thoughts, and also Dave. Thank you, Dave. I haven't shared with you yet. Sent me a tip about stream keys yesterday. And so I have got to check that out. I definitely need to, but I don't have it yet. So stay tuned. We got a couple of things going on, and of course we're just kind of here on the Unhinged day today. When Alex gets the POAPs ready, did it work for you? Damn it! Listen, man. Just because you are the bot's favorite, I wonder if Willem is trolling me. Okay, so leave your questions in the chat. Things you want us to check out, things you want us to think about over the weekend, suggestions you have for a newsletter, whatever. But get out your pencil, get out your paper, because I have got the secret word, and it's a special secret word today. The secret word is all uppercase, no spaces. Oh, you didn't do all uppercase? You did lowercase? Why would you do that to me?
Because I don't think it matters for the bot.
Oh, you don't think so? Okay, well, we'll try it both ways and see what happens. I think it matters for my heart that you write this in uppercase because it's for the meme. The secret word is...
Let's find out.
Big. B-I-G-G. Big. Pepe. P-E-P-E. Biggpepe. Big Pepe. It's like Pepe, but bigger. Put it into the bot. Alex will confirm if you can do all lowercase or if it's got to be uppercase. And then you, my friend, can claim your very own POAP. I'm going to go get mine right now. Once again, if you don't know where to go, this is at the Bot Hub channel in our Discord. Our Discord server is a free community where you can hang out with us. You can ask questions, hang out with all the wonderful people who make our show great, the Faceless Many. We always like to say that you are one of the Faceless Many, whether or not you know it, whether or not you hold one of our NFTs. And so we'd love to see you there at discord.gg/the-many. Okay.
Listen, Evan, I ruined everything. All right. The the
Oh,
secret
no,
word.
that's not what I wanted to hear. What's wrong?
It works, but the secret word is all lowercase, and it's Big Pepe, but only with one G. So
Okay, so all lowercase, no spaces, B-I-G, 1G, P-E-P-E. 7 letters, Big Pepe.
There's the secret
Somebody
word.
got it. There it is.
I just dropped. Thank you, Robbie. Yes, in true meme fashion, I have bungled this spectacularly. And it is true that I did load the POAPs, but in every way that I could have ruined Evan's fancy, funny secret word, I have done so. I did spell Pepe right, so that's about the only thing that I won.
That's okay.
Whoops.
That's okay. I don't feel rugged. I don't feel so rugged. You know, the vibes pass the test. Oh, and speaking of vibes, you know what I wanted to share today? Everybody go get your POAPs. I wanted to share today that East Denver has been in full swing, and this year's pitch contest just ended last night. A project called Open Dollar won their contest, their build-a-thon, and it's a project that's already been in development for a while. Like I got the sense it might not have been the build-a-thon, it might have been the pitch contest. I might be confusing my contests, but it is a liquid. It is an over collateralized staking coin, stable coin, staking coin. Can I talk? Over collateralized stable coin that solves the problem of when you have assets that are collateral for something and you can't use those assets or access them unless you pay back the loan. The example the guy gives is if you took out a mortgage, like, and you couldn't sell your house until you paid the whole mortgage off, that would be crap, right? Like no, the reason mortgages are valuable is they are a more efficient use of capital, efficient use of loans. You can sell your house while it is mortgaged and then go deploy that capital elsewhere. Somebody can get the underlying asset. So what they've done is they've tokenized vaults of underlying assets. They call them non-fungible vaults. You know, I've got my ETH that I'm lending out on this platform or that I'm taking a loan out on. And I can sell that basket of ETH to somebody else. That ETH, which is somewhere on the platform, I've, taken out a mortgage on it. But now I don't have to pay the mortgage back before I move on. They take a platform fee of 2% and you keep 100% of the yield. I may have gone a little too fast for people who are like, wait, what's an over collateralized stablecoin? The tokens are backed by all the assets in vaults. There are fewer liquidations this way. And again, the capital, one of the problems in DeFi is there's nowhere in DeFi right now that I'm aware of that you can sell that basket of assets. You have to either be liquidated or pay back your debt before you can like pick things up and move them on. So it would be a real big flywheel potentially. And the fact that they're attaching a stable coin to it that you can lend out and stake, maybe in a minute, thank you. Anywhere else is just like another accelerator. It's called Open Dollar. And I will maybe post a video later in the Discord. I got a timestamp for when their like pitch presentation is. Great pitch deck, elegant, simple explanation. They've raised, a couple $1 million. and the product will be available soon. And I was like, I want to try it.
Sweet.
Yeah, it was cool. So check it out, everybody. Open Dollar, especially if you're a DeFi person, um, having the ability to sell your debt, or sell the assets you've taken out debt on is going to be a big. I think it's going to be a game changer for sure. Liquid staking is already kind of a game changer. Maybe we can talk about. Maybe we can have a DeFi week sometime soon, and we can
That'd be
get
a good one.
Joe in the hot seat,
Yeah.
because I feel like I've just said a lot of inside baseball, and Daniel got it, um, and a couple of our friends got it, and that was about it. But Daniel says if it's not catfish, I have no interest in it. I wonder if Daniel's just sitting there in his underwear and he's got us playing in the background and he's like smoking a cigarette and he's like just scrolling catfish on Radium.
All right.
It could be a good way to make $500 today. I don't know.
I was hoping to sneak Mac in here at the top of the hour, but he is doing baby stuff. And so we'll get Mac next week. Also, in the cards to make an appearance next week is our friend Kagan, Magic Internet Money. So he's gonna, he's gonna swing by and do some trading talk. He is pretty much exclusively a Bitcoin guy, but he's also, if anyone is good at reading charts, it's Kagan. So if you want to know about trading and you want like just unfiltered, raw, good information about technical analysis and how that world actually works, he's the guy to ask. So make a note. As soon as I know which day we're going to get him on, I will post somewhere about it. I'll let you guys know.
Yeah, man. I mean, that would be a great show. That would be a great show.
He's a good dude.
And also, I mean, I don't know. You know what I was thinking about too? We might reach out to is Angel, non-fungible cats. I wonder. I haven't seen him on TikTok a lot lately, but I wonder if he'd be willing to come in and sit down because it's almost tax time. It is tax time. It's time to get your taxes in, and he would be somebody great to talk to just about crypto and taxes. Alex and I can give some tips, but we're obviously not accountants. He is, and he's in the space doing this stuff, been around for a minute, and can give some real cogent, helpful advice on free or cheap, simple software and other tax solutions. Big Pepe. Let's go, cha cha cha. Big Pepe in the chat. I've turned into that guy. Daniel, I don't know if we could do this, but man, I'd love to. I think it should be. So we were talking about Big Pepe, and I was talking about putting up some liquidity, and there's all these things we got to do, obviously, to make sure that the three of us don't accidentally go to jail, because you don't want to do anything. What is legal, as Daniel said the other day, is up for interpretation. But I am thinking more and more that we should take a page out of this Enjoy playbook. I've been looking at the meme coin Enjoy, which is by Seed Club, and I'm thinking we should just start to do claims by airdrops. And then if the community wants to do a pool and we open up some liquidity, we can. But then one, I don't have to spend a couple $100, and two, it can be a big inside joke, and it can be completely legal, and we can give a ton of utility to the tokens or whatever. I don't know. Do you have any thoughts on that, Alex? Do you have any thoughts on that, Daniel? Do you have any thoughts on that, my friends in the audience? How do you want to claim Big Pepe?
I like airdrops.
Daniel says the community will rug it.
The community will probably rug it.
No. I don't mean that they're going to rug it. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying if it's a pot with like 3 SOL in it, almost certainly somebody's going to rug it. Got to do a launch pad. Just got to find one. Let me know in the comments below if you are trying to take Big Pepe to the moon, or if it's about the friends you made along the way. And stay tuned.
Listen, I'm indifferent, but I do feel pretty strongly about not going to jail. And since Evan and I have already broken the cardinal rule of effectively launching a bullshit meme coin and putting our faces attached to it and broadcasting its creation on the internet, You know, this is really just supposed to be an educational journey.
An educational tool. Yeah.
Yeah. So we fully expect this thing to get rugged by somebody at some point, but we'll find out, I guess. I don't know what kind of launch pad would take this on. There's no reason for this to, be anything more than, I mean, if you go to Dex Tools and just pick Solana and pick live new pairs, just watch them roll in. Someone makes a new coin about once every 2 or 3 minutes.
Yeah, but not everybody is making big Pepe.
So, Angel, if it happened to do something, then yes, that is what would most likely happen. We do have a great nonprofit that can always use donations. I'm personally, though, a big fan of people just donating to a nonprofit if they would like to donate to charity. I don't think you need to launder your charitable donation through a shitcoin to get it to the nonprofit first. So, I don't really like advertising or selling a meme coin that way because, I would rather advertise and promote the nonprofit.
The shelter. Although we did talk about that. If we launch a meme coin and it takes off, what would probably happen is eventually, because I would buy some, for the memes. But I would probably, if I could withdraw $100, I would buy myself lunch and maybe buy Kimberly some flowers, and then we could find a way to support the shelter. That would be a huge success story. But like Alex said, we are just two guys sharing their opinions on the internet and trying to show you how easy it is for any yoo-hoo anywhere. Like, not everybody is, got Daniel in the chat and back and forth, whatever, but just about anybody could spin up a meme coin. Oh, Daniel, Kimberly would be so happy that you said the Pink Ranger, because pink is her favorite color. And she is powerful. She's mighty. I don't know if she was a Power Rangers fan, but I'll have to ask her. No, Kimberly, my partner, Kimberly. She's great. She doesn't make many appearances on camera because she's shy, but she's always here. That's Alex's goal, I know. I don't know if we got to a million likes. I'm sure Kimberly would humor me.
Evan saying that Kim doesn't make many appearances is a polite way of saying she would rather die than show her face. I've been trying to get Kim to make a cameo on the show for years.
We went to Las Vegas for our first in-person meetup as Faceless Labs, and everybody was there, and we were kind of reminiscing about it the other day, and somebody was posting a picture. I think Michael posted a picture that had all of us in it just kind of gathered around, and Kimberly was there, and Mihir zoomed in on Kim's face and happened to catch her when she was like mid-drink, and it was like the face of somebody who just wants everyone to shut up about crypto so she can drink her tequila. It was perfect.
All right. Well, Evan, how about taking a quick peek at some current events?
We haven't looked at the news in a minute.
We have not. So, all right. I guess one thing that should come as a surprise to nobody is that good old Michael Saylor and MicroStrategy have upped the amount of their convertible note debt rate from $600 to $700 million to buy more Bitcoin. It seems extreme, but it is important to note that just in the last month or so, MicroStrategy has made they're like $4 billion and change in profit. I'm seeing a lot of froth in and around the market itself, just because we had a dip, what was it, 2 days ago, and typically in the bullish phases of the market, a dip is common. It happens. You open your portfolio and you cry a little bit inside because every number is red and it's down like 20%, and then it stays down by 2-3 days, something like that, and then it goes up past a little bit from where it was, it dips again, and you kind of do this little like boop, 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 but consistently climbing, up and to the right. And yeah, actually, of all the things that are in my portfolio, the only one that is green on all 3 1 hour, 24 hour, and 7 days is Solana. Which is pretty cool because I just expanded my bag of it yesterday by a decent chunk. I rotated out of something I couldn't care less about into Solana. Actually, just honestly, it was funny. I literally only did it to make it cheaper to move some money around because the other network was way more expensive. And Solana's dirt cheap. And now Solana's ripping. So actually, I made a little bit on the trade anyway. So that's pretty cool.
I've seen a lot of hate lately because of this activity on Twitter about how, because most of the activity happening on Solana is related to memes and meme trading. I think I don't know. I think it misses the point because high throughput and fast finality, cheap, that matters whether you're doing meme coin trading or, I don't know, decentralized Uber. I don't really buy that argument. I definitely think Solana, it's got downtime. Even Coinbase has downtime. But people clearly don't. I see you just said what I was going to say. People clearly don't care. Yeah. They're using the network, and that's what matters.
So, I don't say this to say that I am not concerned about market or network outages, because like I am. Personally, me, Alex, I'm not a huge fan of that. That seems like a big problem that I think should be probably addressed. I feel like someone is probably working on it. Where that work gets, we will see. We'll see how many outages we get this year. We've got one so far, right? I think we've had just the one so far.
I feel like we had two. Did we have two? Oh no, maybe it was just one. Yeah, no, it was one. I would disagree. I think buying shitcoins does count as using the network because most people are using it again and again and again and again and again and again and again. Buying, selling, buying, selling, buying, selling, buying, selling.
Yeah.
I think it's a much better approximation of like the Visa economy than something like Bitcoin that Michael Saylor's just like hoarding in a cave in a tunnel beneath his house.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, it's literally the same thing as, I'm sure that Visa doesn't subtract transactions from their, overall network usage for debit and credit card purchases if someone is buying a scratcher with their debit card. And I would agree with what Mashise just said, that I may personally not think that they're like what you bet the house on or what you build your 401k out of, just because they are a fickle mistress. But crypto is very much an internet culture. It is its own little society. It is an immature industry. And at its current stage, and I would honestly not be surprised if forever, funny internet jokes remain a piece of the culture. Look at all of the amazing things that the internet does, but still to this day, pictures of cats on skateboards are still funny and they still have an audience. And unless some sort of thing, regulation-wise comes into the space, I don't expect that we will ever see an end to memes. I think just like with the internet, whichever one is trendy and funny, those will rotate out. You don't hear anybody talking about SafeMoon anymore. We've rotated now into putting hats on all of the other memes. That narrative will die, and we'll rotate to something else. They're all going to start wearing socks, or maybe articles of clothing is the next thing. We've had food runs, we've had dog variant runs. I mean, there was all sorts of Elon Musk related memes. It is just trendy internet culture, and it's fickle. They drop as quickly as they pick up. Tons of people lose money on these things. But it is no different than walking into a casino and playing slots, or walking into the gas station and buying a scratcher. Those who are trading in and out of these things, with the proper mindset, know that they're playing a game and that they are way more likely to lose the money that they throw into it, than they are to walk away with $1 million. And as we've covered in liquidity, you're not even going to walk away with $1 million, even if you earned it, in most of these cases. So
I do think there is something really important you need to latch onto in what Alex is saying and file away for later, that memes are the internet native medium of communication. The medium is virality. In the same way that cavemen were starting to understand that the sounds from their mouths could be used to make mutual meaning, people are starting to realize that memes, highly uh, highly shareable instances of communication that are quick to understand. I had a friend who was talking about this with GIFs. He insisted that GIFs were like the next evolution of language, because if you understand words, you can move people. You can motivate them to action. If you understand how to craft a meme in such a way that millions of people will understand it, have a strong feeling about it, and want to share it, that makes you like the orator of the internet, and you will reach and move and influence more people than anybody in this post-internet era. So, as Alex says, a lot of the meme coins, they're gambling. But somebody who understands memes, the medium, well, can use what they know to pay attention and get better at influencing people on the internet. I see the guy who launched Pork is a good example. Shloms is a good example. The artist I talked about last week who did the Gmail hoax, Kimberly had the same response to that a lot of people have to like Solana and meme coins. Like, why would you use your time as an artist? I don't think it's art to fool people into thinking that Gmail has gone down or is sunsetting. I happen to think it's brilliant, it's internet native, and it may lead people to a deeper conversation where they start to question the control and authority that companies like Google have over our lives. I think that's a great use of art. For example, memes, often dismissed, will have that same kind of profound world shifting influence that we're only beginning to grasp. Alex, what do you think about this question? Thoughts on uh, if I buy at the top and something dips 20%, but I have confidence, would you recommend a wash sale? And what things do you think about?
okay, first of all, I'm not going to recommend anything, but
Good deal. Me either.
here's the thing to consider that I think some people don't consider when contemplating wash trading. And if you're unaware, wash trading is trading in and out of a cryptocurrency asset to change your cost basis of that asset. So let's say you buy Bitcoin at $50,000 and you bought one of them, and now it is only worth $40,000, but you think that it is going to go to $60,000. So you're like contemplating a wash trade, which would be selling the Bitcoin for $40,000, accepting a $10,000 loss, and immediately rebuying it at $40,000. Now your cost basis, the cost of acquisition, the amount that you have invested into Bitcoin is $40,000, and you have a $10,000 loss. You can do two things now. That $10,000 loss, you can declare that on your taxes as a capital loss, which entitles you to a tax break. I think you can use up to $3,000 a year for an individual to claim on capital loss. The problem is that if you have confidence that it is going to go back up to 60, and it does, and you sell that Bitcoin for $60,000 now, giving yourself effectively $10,000 in profit from your original place, but because you made the wash trade, you now have $20,000 in profit. All you've done is effectively double the amount of capital gains tax that you now are liable for. So in that sense, if you have the confidence that it's going to go back up, and that is a bet that you're willing to take and a risk that you're willing to assume, I would probably not wash trade in that instance, because all I'm going to do, if what I believe is going to happen happens, is increase the tax liability that I have on myself to pay more money if now I'm in more profit than I was before. Now, the question here would be, do you want to try to do some sort of weird shenanigan where you offset capital gains by also being able to declare a loss? I've never found that to be totally worth it, just because the amount that they will tax you on a gain has no ceiling. In true government fashion, as far as your taxes are concerned, they will tax you to fucking oblivion, but you can only declare a teeny tiny little loss. Even if you've lost $1 million, they're only going to give you a credit for 3,000 of those dollars. But if you make $1 million, you can bet your ass they're going to take as much of it as they possibly can. So wash trading is really, I think, so I've done it very situationally. And the context in which I usually make an effort there is if, like, I think the example I've used before is I had two cryptos that I really liked at one point, and I buy them, let's say at, they're each at $1,000, and then they both drop to 700. And now my thesis has changed, and I think that crypto A is going to go to the moon, and I think crypto B is dead in the water. I may rotate both of them into the same thing just to, maximize my potential for profit by betting on the one that I think has a better chance, by doubling down on it. Other than that, though, I generally don't really mess with wash trading, just because, if I'm at a loss and I don't need the money for something and I would like to keep it in the market and I would like to let it go do what I think it's going to do, I don't want to increase my profit margin by any more than I already am going to be liable for, just because I don't want to pay more taxes than I have to. But yes, Daniel, like I just said, you can only declare a capital loss of $3,000. There are ways you can go above that, but you need to be trading in and out of assets as part of a legally recognized entity like an LLC or your company. Companies can declare more. And I think there are also this would be a good question for some of our friends who are CPAs. I think there are some other stipulations for being able to claim more than the $3,000 a year. And you can actually carry it over as well, too. So if you have like 10 grand of a loss in 1 year, you can declare 3 in that year and you can carry 3 over to the next year. But it's not quite as cut and dry as that. Let me ask a friend of mine who's a CPA, and I'll come back on Monday with a little bit of an updated answer to the exact tax.
I think it would be great to have, if not Angel, definitely somebody come on who could maybe answer, because I feel like people would have a lot of good tax questions. Like I see it's all about the view has one, and I
Yes.
all I know is everything Alex said.
So you don't minimize the capital gains tax with a reinvestment if you reinvest at a lower entry price. So in my Bitcoin example there, if I buy the Bitcoin at 50, sell it at 40, and then rebuy it at 40, now my cost basis of acquisition for the Bitcoin is 40 instead of 50. Now if it goes to 60, I owe taxes on the 20 that I gained on paper instead of the 10 that I actually gained in real life. The government doesn't care about real life; they care about on paper. So it would not minimize it would actually increase the capital gains that you are on the hook for if you wash traded out of something into a loss. But it really is, at the end of the day, it's all about your own risk tolerance as well. Whether you sell something at a loss. Personally, I think that if you are in the position where you are like considering selling something at a big loss, and it's something that you do believe in long term, you probably over leverage and you shouldn't have gone in that much to begin with. Which is kind of one of those lessons I put in a video not that long ago. Like, if you're panicking, it's telling you something about the situation that you're in. You either made a bad choice or you're about to make one. So if you get itchy thinking about what happens if this money I just put into this crypto goes down by 50%, don't put that much in. And
exactly. I was just going to highlight that comment for people who watch on YouTube. I've never been too worried about gains tax. That only means I made money. Obviously, lots of opinions on taxes, but that's about how I feel. We're not here to avoid the taxes. I don't want to go to jail for that. I would love to figure out an alternative system, but until we do, Although, I guess I'd rather go to jail for not paying taxes appropriately because the law was so complex than for, murdering somebody. I don't want to do that. That's so like 1899, honestly. Thank you for the lightning divergence. It's very
Riverboater,
kind of you, and thank you, everybody. We're at almost 7,000 likes, which is
almost.
it means they really like us, Alex. I feel the like. I feel the like. Don't forget to claim your POAP if you haven't. It will be up and available if you're having trouble. I saw Robbie ask me to send him a link to the Discord. I am glad to do that. But for anybody else, it's discord.gg/the-many. I popped it in the chat there. We got a couple minutes left, Alex. Are there any other particularly important news stories that you feel deserve our attention?
It's all about the view. It's a nice thought, but unfortunately, the only thing we're really risking at this point is all of us going to jail. So I can't advise that you avoid your taxes.
Mm-hmm.
So Nashisa brings up a good point, though. One of the things that I do see circulating, and I think is worth addressing, even though obviously this is not condoning it at all. A lot of people, just because of how behind regulators are and enforcers are on the crypto industry, if I'm buying and selling and trading on the Radium DEX using a phantom wallet that does not have my name attached to it, that it's only been on Radium, it's a decentralized exchange, I just made the wallet, and sent it some Solana, whatever. No one's tracking that kind of stuff. It is theoretically possible that they could figure it out by backtracing transactions from the centralized exchange that sold it to a wallet and trying to pull like its full trade history and see if it was actually this cut and dry, or how many trades got you to this number that you're at, or whatever. But they're nowhere near the ability to actually do that. So lots of people choose to risk it for the biscuit and just not share with the IRS on their taxes when they file them that they traded on a decentralized platform and that they made money or lost money or did whatever. So sure, AI could make it more easy to figure that out.
I was just going to say, I actually think that's a really good point.
But
especially the integration of all the different stuff.
That's not how what works, Daniel. The thing is, though, that the IRS is, even if you are not talking about decentralized exchanges and using AI, first of all, we're talking about the IRS.
Yeah, guys, listen.
They are dinosaurs. The risk here, and actually we have a podcast episode that perfectly covers this with our lawyer. He makes the point that the risk of doing stuff like this is generally not worth it, because not that you're going to get swept up in some huge IRS movement, where they get everyone, but just that, like, if you're filing taxes and you're just, declaring or not declaring, or just, you have centralized exchanges and you're depositing money into your bank account and there's like no indication from where it's coming from and all this kind of shit, someone could choose to make an example of you, and that's really all it takes. I mean, audits are not necessarily like, all right, next year we're going to audit this person. It's like something slightly out of the norm happens, and then you get audited, and some junior agent wants to make an example and boost their career and put something in their jacket, and they know that they can get you because you probably traded crypto, because they can see on whatever 1099s that are filed by these giant companies. Because Robinhood, Coinbase, Kraken, Binance, they all send me tax forms every single year because I use these exchanges. And if they have my name and my information because I KYC'd with that exchange on a tax form that they send to me, you can bet your ass that the IRS has access to that too. So at the end of the day, it's really just not worth it to see what you can get away with, just because the penalties for getting caught, and this has nothing to do with me agreeing with the capital gains tax system. I'm just saying that the penalties for getting caught cheating on your taxes, I really don't think it's worth it, because like someone made the point earlier, if you're having to pay capital gains tax, it means that you made money on your investments. And yes, it's bullshit. And yes, the tax rate is way too high. And yes, there should be all sorts of, concessions made for small amounts. You shouldn't get charged the 37% short-term capital gains tax if you made $20, because that's insane. But that's the world that we live in, unfortunately. Anyway,
Amen.
rant over.
Well said.
No.
Daniel is here. Do you have a rebuttal? How are you, sir?
No, I do not. I do not have a rebuttal. Pay your taxes, guys. But what I did want to add that if you do get audited, for those of you who are trying to evade your taxes because you think that the IRS will have a very hard time proving that you made this, the moment that your money is in your bank account, they know how much money you have, and there's no proof of how you made that money. You have to prove how you made that money. Yep. And that's how they get you. You have to prove that you pay the taxes somehow.
Yeah, the onus is always entirely on you. Exactly. They only look at one thing, and all they know is that you probably owe them money, and they will come after you to get it. That's really the short and long of it.
They said in the comments, gifts. Let me tell you what.
Gifts are tax deductible.
Pay me in cash. Every time somebody just wants, I say, listen, I'm a sweet, kind person. People just give me stuff all the time.
Yeah, but you still have to pay taxes on gifts. Like if somebody gifts you, I think it's over $300, you're actually supposed to declare that as income.
If it's over $300, if it's a small gift, and I get plenty of small gifts, little gifts every day, Daniel.
Here is literally the only way that there's two ways that you can actually get around this, and I'm going to explain to you why the influencers who sell you on this are not giving you the full story. You can day trade if you want within the confines of a specific account. So like if you have an IRA and you choose to hold individual stocks inside of the confines of your IRA, depending on if it's traditional or a Roth, did you pay taxes already when you deposited into it, or are you going to when you sell out of it? You can trade within that, and the things all stay contained. So the money that you put in gets taxed, and the money that comes out of it gets taxed, whatever your setup is. That's one thing. But, you're potentially screwing with your retirement. And if you are using a Roth IRA or a traditional IRA to fund your retirement, it's probably not the wisest idea to start day trading the full bag, inside of your platform. That's a little silly. Two, you can also then, within the confines of a business entity that specifically uses a structure like a business trust, for example, money that goes into it is tax deferred until you take it out to spend that money on something that is not tax deductible. So if you earn money while it's inside the confines of this trust, doing something like day trading, technically, you owe money on that. You owe taxes on it. But if you never withdraw it, and so people who use trust structures just live out of the trust permanently and they never withdraw the money, they borrow against it and use that money to buy dumb shit. And they use the money in the trust to buy shit that's tax deductible. Like, you can get a clever accountant who can figure a way to deduct pretty much anything. But the thing to keep in mind, though, is that setting up a trust is like pretty expensive, and it's really not worth it unless you are dealing with a tremendous amount of money. So that's a pretty unrealistic methodology for evading your taxes. So this all comes back to exactly what Daniel said when he popped up here. And exactly what I said in my video the other day, just pay your taxes. It's not that hard, and we're all suffering in misery together. So come on the internet and commiserate with the rest of us who get shafted on their taxes every single year too. And we're sitting here waiting for you.
Daniel, what's your kind of good joke, word of wisdom, thoughts, feelings on as we head into the weekend, aside from catfish, or is it?
I'm not going to show catfish. Don't worry, but it is going up. it is going up, but I'm not going to show it. Never mind. I mean, it's the bull market, guys. If you're in crypto, start looking at DEX tools. Start searching for coins that you think are going to move. If you're looking to make money, that is the move right now, right?
Yeah, if you're behind, because I would say if you're starting to look right now, you may feel like you are behind. If you're just learning about DEX tools, do you have a to keep it less than overwhelming? What's your like starter pack? DEX tools is a great rec. Do you have other tools or other like keep it simple, stupid process for somebody on the ground floor? Or maybe somebody
Dex.
who has been here since last time, but that wasn't their good. They were learning then, and now they're like eager and ready.
Dex tools, Phantom Wallet, and Trust Wallet, man. That's all I use. I don't use any other tools. I look at Dex tools that tells me what to buy, and then I use Phantom Wallet for Solana and Trust Wallet for absolutely everything else, man. Find a bridge you trust. Sushi Swap is good because you want to move your money between chains. Um, that's all you need. I guess social media. X.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you use Lunar Crush at all?
Not even a little bit, man.
Really? I like Lunar Crush as a social media aggregator. I am already pained by how much time I spend online. And the last thing I need is another social account to like track down stuff personally. I have curated a really good like feed on Twitter or Warpcast or wherever I want to get my crypto news. But I like Lunar Crush a lot because it saves me time there. I use the free
Yeah,
version though. I'm sure people use the pro, but
I do like it, not for this specifically though. So like if I'm looking at Lunar Crush, I'm looking at it for bigger stuff and I'm trying to like, gauge overall sentiment across a bunch of platforms on, something of more size. But I think, and Daniel, correct me if I'm wrong, what Lunar Crush is going to be way too far behind, and it's not even going to have information about these teeny tiny little things if that's what you're throwing darts at, Like
yeah. It depends on what you're buying. If you're looking for the next cock or the next or you're looking for the next dog with hat whiff, and you think,
with
yeah, so cock would be the
woof,
next
woof.
whiff in my mind, if that's what you're looking for, right? Then Lunar Crush is a
Right.
great tool to find those coins. But if you're looking for cock before it became cock, when it was like 700K, it's not going to be on social media though. You gotta
yeah.
search for those.
That rip on Arcade yesterday, that when we were sitting there, we were all sitting in a meeting and it just did a casual 3x in like 15 minutes. It was right timed when there was like some partnership on their Twitter that was announced with someone who was going to bolster the liquidity pool. So liquidity went up a smidge and the price ripped. But like if you weren't looking at their Twitter, you would have missed that.
And okay, so on that, if you pay attention to the coins, once you figure out what the coins that people like, the real thing is finding a coin that you think other people will like, right? Once you figure that out, you have to join their spaces on X, and they actually told us that they were going to have that partnership 3 days ago on X.
Well, shit, there you go.
Yeah. So like the inside information is there. You just have to take the extra step and hang out with those degens. And they all suck and they're all gross and they're all anti-Semites and racists. But you do what you can, man.
Yeah, right. You just got to keep perspective on it. Yeah, I marvel at how degenerate, but also how well informed, like my curated network has become in the last 4 years or so. Like, I don't know. 4 years ago, I would have been like, "Where are they talking about this?" And now I go on Twitter and I'm like, what conversation do I want to join? That's my problem. Is like reducing. I don't have enough bandwidth to pay attention to it all. I got to simplify stuff like that. So that's why I usually just don't do a lot of like swing trading or anything because I hate the game of attending to it.
Yeah,
But
man.
it is a lot of fun when you do it once in a while. I was right there with Alex yesterday watching Soulcade, just going, oh my god,
Yeah, wild.
Yeah, man. And
Well,
catfish is next.
Catfish is next. I wrote it down, and I also wrote down Alex what you said. I'm going to make a T-shirt that says "Day Trading the Full Bag," and then I'm
Oh,
going to make
jeez.
another T-shirt that says "More Size." And I'm going to put Pepe's picture on it.
You know what's you know what an ancient video that I made like 2 years ago now? I'll have to dig up and see exactly how long ago this was, but I have this theory with crypto that is exactly how I'm doing what Daniel is talking about here. Because you look, like I said, you look at DEX tools and you pick your blockchain of choice, the one that you're gonna as who was it? As Shared Delusions just said, whatever we're gonna throw darts at next. I use what I call the wine bottle theory, which is because I call it that because I know absolutely fuck all about wine. Nothing. like, I barely know what the technical terms are for, reds and whites. I know nothing about wine. So if I was tasked with going to the grocery store and picking out a bottle of wine for an event or an occasion, I would literally just stand back and look at the shelf and pick the grabbiest looking label. And that's exactly what I do for these things. Like if I'm staring at this giant list and you see a name that just makes no sense with a really just janky looking picture, versus one that has like a name that easily relates to something else that's trendy that it's clearly deriving from. And like, okay, here, for example, if you just look at the top 10 trending things on the Solana side for DEX tools, right? There's a few. The first one, the number one right now is PENG. It's a penguin. It's a penguin thing, but it's like a clean little cartoon penguin. The thing is just called Penguin. It looks flashy. It looks like it has the potential to be trendy, versus something that just looks like messy, that no one put any effort into. Like, this analysis means fucking nothing. It's just like someone who has no context looking at a list of choices and picking the one that looks the fanciest. You could also put yourself in this position if you go to the App Store and you're trying to find a new game to play on your phone. You can tell which ones have like, that's a good looking thumbnail. That's a good looking app icon. That's a clean sounding name for the game. That screenshot of gameplay looks nice versus no, that looks jank as hell. It's not to say that the jank stuff couldn't run. It's not to say that the terrible looking wine bottle is not going to be delicious. That's just the way that I feel like most people with zero context are going to window shop on this bullshit. So there's step number one, I guess, if you're looking to make a completely uninformed decision on what to throw a dart at.
Well, it's exactly like Daniel said. You've got to figure out what other people are going to like, which other people's choices, man, blows my mind.
It really is. I think most of the problem that smart people have with the crypto market, because it's not smart people that do well. The biggest problem that smart people have is that you overthink it. Like, for example, there was a coin that Cock. Cock is a great example. I found Cock at 700,000 market cap. How did I know that was going to be huge? Because it was a dick joke. That was my thesis. It was a dick joke, so it's going to do amazing. And it's not just a dick joke. It's cock inu, cock inu. And I was like, oh my God, this is going to be the next big thing.
Yeah.
And that was it. That was my thesis. And it's the same thing. Like, for example, the other coin that I found, Chat. What was my thesis for that one? It's a fucking chat room, and Solana has an app. Of course it's going to be.
Yeah.
And that's it. And I think people overthink it, and they start thinking about the economic systems and how in the future it's going to be used and who is the target market and what are its competitors, and none of that fucking matters.
Yep. Well,
this is like the grammar of memes. Is not about like where are we going. It's about where are we right now. Did you laugh when you heard it? Did it move you? Did it irritate you? All those things I think are way more important.
Exactly. It really is. It's more about entertainment than it is about business.
When the Trump NFT launched last year, I remember I made a mistake because the first mistake I made was I told Kimberly about it. The second mistake I made was deciding not to buy a bunch of them because I was like, at that time, I thought they were licensing his, I think they were licensing his image. And I thought there was maybe some royalty going to him. It was a moral thing. And I saw it for what it was, pretty immediately. They sold for like $100 a piece. And I remember talking to the guys in the chat. We were talking about it and being like, yeah, we should get that. But I told Kay, she was like, you don't believe in him. Why would you support that? Why would you do that? But because he is such a polarizing figure, even still, maybe now more than ever, I knew it was going to rip. Absolutely knew it. And I don't remember what the high for them was, but it was like over $4,000, I think. And I just kicking myself for being too analytical about it, thinking too much about it, trying to make it a moral thing. It was a meme.
It's a meme. It's a meme. It's so a meme. Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So
I mean, it's like you've said too. If you can find one of these things that has, and I'm putting this in quotes, utility, then what does that actually mean, right? It just becomes a million times easier for the Twitter community to shill it to each other.
Yep.
Because instead of just saying it's funny, you can say like, no, bro, it actually has utility.
Exactly.
And even if the utility is pointless, and even if absolutely no one in their right mind would give a shit, and even if there's a better option, the fact that it exists, I mean, that was the vast majority of the NFT space, was utility that no one actually cared about, but the bet that everyone was taking is that someone else is going to care about the fact that there is a utility for it, and they're going to make a bigger bet than I am, which is exactly
so
the nature of a Ponzi-nomic crypto project, which is a large majority of
I have
the
a I
space.
have a, I have a friend who's making email on Solana, and he
okay.
was and we were having a conversation about it. And this is top secret information, so don't share it, guys. All right, everybody out there, don't share this.
Yeah. All 49 people now and everybody watching in the future.
Anyways, we were talking about it, and I'm like, this doesn't make any sense. Why would anybody use this? And then he looks at me in the eye, very serious, very passionately. He says, "No one gives a shit. All right, we're just trying to. Nobody is gonna use this. Nobody's gonna use any of these products. People are gonna buy it anyways. We're gonna do
Yeah.
our
Like the moon.
best. We're gonna do our best to make the best product on the blockchain that we can, even though it doesn't make any sense."
Do you think it's because it's not? So you got a question in the chat. I don't know if you saw it, but I want to extend it. Somebody said, "Have you experienced composability issues when building ICP or anywhere?" And my extension of the question is, I feel like a big reason it's not scalable, it's not a good product, is because, like right now, we were working on. Most people come to Ethereum to build first. And then they go other places. They go to the L2s, or they like start to go sideways. They're doing roll ups, or they're doing whatever. They find another ecosystem. But I feel like unless it's really truly composable, like we say it's going to be, that's like where it ends. Do you
Yeah,
agree, or do you find challenges with that? Do you think it's not as much of a problem?
no, I agree. I agree with that statement. That's why crypto is stupid for 99% of its applications. Crypto is a, and this is what I always say, and it goes against everybody else because and everyone hates me for it. Crypto is a casino. The main utility of crypto is to trade coins. If your product is not helping me trade coins, then I'm not going to use your product. If your product is not uh, helping the trade of coins, then your product is just vaporware being shilled out. And the reason is like you just said, it's composability. Because if I make a chat room on Solana, that's not going to work with WhatsApp in any possible way. And it's not like I expect all my chats to work, but like I just added a dependency of having a phantom wallet to my chat room. You know, you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't make any sense, right? And that's a $50 million project right there.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And
I
the
mean, it's,
storage problem is huge too. Like, if you build something, where are we going to store it? I don't know. Let's just put it on another blockchain. Or,
You put it on
we'll put it off
AWS.
chain.
Who
And then
gives
we
a
got to
shit?
have some
Yeah,
fees and da 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 da.
that
yeah.
it's you put it on Amazon, and then eventually you get tired of paying the storage fees on Amazon, and so you stop paying for it.
Or you store it locally, and then people can delete it when their phone runs out of memory. It
Yeah.
doesn't matter.
Yep.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
the Good Crust asks, is there going to be a meme super cycle too? It feels earlier this year. I don't know what they would define a super cycle as, but based on the week I personally have had, it feels like we're in some kind of meme cycle right now.
You're gonna see meme cycles come in and out. There's like a market condition when Bitcoin starts to pump hard and when the ecosystem coins like start to go sideways, it usually means that we're about to have a big meme cycle. Basically, everybody's taking profits from Bitcoin, everyone's taking profits from Solana, Ethereum, all those things, and they're looking to gamble, so they start buying shitcoins. It happens like every 3 4 months. It's usually when I make my most money.
Yeah. Do you mostly make it doing active trading or a lot of buy low, sell high, spread it wide?
I that buy low, sell high, spread it wide. When I see when I see the market moving into position for that, I'll usually hit up Dex tools and I'll start scanning for coins, and I'll find something usually.
Mm-hmm. Um, man, it's good stuff. It's hard. It's hard. I don't like paying any more attention to the internet than I have to, and you kind of gotta.
Yeah, no, you
You,
don't though. You never need to trade. 99% of the time, it's a bad time to trade tokens. Right now, it's good, but most of the time, it's terrible.
oh, I just mean to say, like looking around for them.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
But
It's
Dex tools absolutely saves a lot of time. Like if it, as you say, you start to sense it's that time. You go to Dex tools. You could probably spend 2 hours and find, I don't know, 50 different tokens to put a couple bucks in. Makes
yeah,
sense.
yeah. I mean, you put a very little amount, and
Mm-hmm.
there's always at least one that goes up 100x, 100 times 100. It's a pretty good amount of money.
Yep.
But all right, guys, I gotta
Overrated.
go. I have a job I need to go do.
Overrated.
Well,
I know, right?
listen, man, go do your job. We appreciate you for being here, and you're welcome back anytime. Thanks for sharing, brother.
For
Have a
sure,
good weekend.
man. It's a good time. It's a good time being here. See y'all.
Dude,
What about you, Alex? You
it's
got last thoughts, good jokes, words of wisdom,
yeah.
final questions?
I was just gonna say I like the way Daniel phrased that the point of most crypto is just to trade tokens. It's pretty accurate. In fact, if you take most of these things that like have done numbers or get strong narratives or get contagious social media followings and movements and stuff like that. I'm trying to think. A really good example of this was VXV, which definitely took a social media spotlight during the last bull run. And 5 minutes of looking could tell you that the crypto absolutely did not need to exist, that it did not add a single thing to the project, which I maintain, I still think I made a video about it. It's one of the few cryptos I've made a video about. And my video was literally just saying that I don't think the crypto needs to exist. The project was cool. It was like taking big important data and putting it into, more organized baskets so that companies that needed lots of it could get it in a more easy and streamlined manner. Like it made sense. And using AI to analyze all of that data and see what kinds of things it can pull out of it. And the example was, hey, leading up to natural disasters, there has been a massive amount of weather data generated, and maybe by AI analyzing a lot of it that we've never looked at collectively, we could find new predictive patterns that would indicate a natural disaster is coming, and we could be better prepared for it. That is a fucking ludicrously cool potential thing. It doesn't need crypto at all. Crypto adds absolutely nothing to that idea, right? But the company Vector Space used VXV as a token. I would posit they use it exclusively to raise money because it's an easy way to crowdsource a shitload of funding. Because no one can look at that like, I'm going to make it easier to predict when a hurricane's going to happen so that people don't die. That's a pretty strong use case. And most people won't take it a step further and really question like, okay, why are we attaching a cryptocurrency to this? Why is that necessary? It wasn't. And you could figure that out by just going to Vector Space's website and realizing that so the cryptocurrency's purpose was so for companies to pay for this data, they needed to use this crypto. Unless they don't want to, then they can just use dollars. And it was like, okay, so why the ever-loving fuck would anybody take the dollars that they could just pay for the data set with and buy this crappy cryptocurrency to make the same transaction instead? No company would ever do that. The only people who bought the crypto were the ones who were trading the token. That was it. And now that they raised a buttload of money that way, Vector Space doesn't give two shits about that token. Maybe they're keeping up appearances. I honestly haven't looked in ages, but it's pointless. The reason that this technology is like really cool for other stuff, in my opinion. And again, this is my opinion, some guy on the internet, it doesn't really matter. It matters exactly as much as you think it does. I think all of the coolest shit has no token attached to it. Or if it does have a token attached to it, it's an NFT that you get for free by doing something. So
Yeah,
you,
or that is totally illiquid. Yeah.
yeah. So you, the person, you get to, and Daniel's 100% right about that. You don't have to disclose that. You only have to disclose if they actually compensated you for the messaging that you're putting out. But if you paid for something, you just got special permission to pay for it. You should disclose that, but you are not legally required to per CFTC guidelines. What was that? Oh, so uh, um, that's why I think gaming is a cool narrative that actually makes sense. Not necessarily gaming cryptocurrencies, the tokens that are attached to it. You know, if Supercell was selling gems as a token, I'd be way more bullish on that than any gaming cryptocurrency that exists. Just because Supercell has, for the last 10 years, established the value of gems and it's $1 billion marketplace. But if you just like use tokens to secure the stuff that people get and let those people assign value to stuff, it's infinitely more important. That's like why I'm really here. The shitcoin casino is fun. If you go into it with the exact same attitude, like I keep saying, and I will say this until we're all sick and tired of me saying it, you have to approach it like buying a scratcher. No one goes like, oh man, I really need to pay rent this week. Better take my $100 and go buy $100 worth of scratchers. Like no one, you shouldn't. I'm sure someone does. That's not the way to buy a scratcher. But you buy a scratcher because it's like, oh, I'm stick something fun in someone's birthday card because
Sure.
who knows? Maybe they'll get lucky.
Happy birthday. Yeah.
Whatever. That's why this stuff matters, and I think the meme side of crypto is going to be here forever, just because, like we said earlier, memes are internet culture. They're not reliable. Yeah. The only thing you can rely on is the fact that we will probably always have them in some form or another, but who knows what's going to be funny when.
And I think there will be an accelerating, maybe not hyper accelerating, but the way there is an accelerating relationship between tech and capital, like we launched the smartphone, now we need to get more money to build the next one to get more money. I think there will be an accelerating sort of relationship that is already, appearing between memes and the kinds of cultural progress they push, which might be reflected in products like meme tokens. Meme tokens are a reflection that people demand community, culture, making meaning together, and this is the medium they have to do it. Tokens that are worth pennies. I just am interested to see. I also think the contextualization of all this happening within a monetary culture means it will look way different if we ever move away from that, or maybe it'll be a part of moving us away from that. Like that's my whole flagpole. That's my flag in the sand. Alex, what do you think about this question? I want to first. I have to read this. Gonna start saying Mimi like Alex. Did you mean Mimi as in like Mimi tokens? I like Mimi. I like writing it as Mimi better. Mimi, Mimi, Mimi.
So,
what do you think?
What
do you think about this? Oh, sorry. Go ahead. For the record.
Just for the record, I know that it's pronounced meme. When I say Mimi, I'm using it as an adjective.
Yeah. It's like Big Pepe, but Big Peepee. Yes. Which is also pretty funny.
I just don't want people to think I'm so far removed from internet culture that I believe meme is pronounced Mimi.
Or like, how do you say GIF, Alex?
It's GIF.
It's GIF, man. Unless you're French, and then it's GIF, which is kind of sexy, man.
It's GIF.
Somebody asked, and I think they got some answers in the comments, but this is a good fundamental question. I just want to hit it before we leave. Do you guys sell your tokens or convert them? Just like Alex said a minute ago, this is not for us to tell you what to do. This is a highly personal question. There are advantages to doing either and disadvantages depending on what your situation is. If I am trading something with the intention to utilize the gains from it in the real world, I sell it. Often I convert it to something like a stable coin because I intend to keep that money in cryptocurrency. I think the second most unpracticed necessary skill in crypto, aside from like proper security hygiene, with a cold storage wallet, um, layers of abstraction. I think the second most important thing is most people don't really do their diligence on how to convert their gains or losses, report them properly, etc. Most people I know who buy crypto, it usually takes them about 3 to 6 months before they sell it and figure out they don't know how to turn it into cash, or they don't know that when they sell it, and then first it gets converted to like numbers on a screen, but then they got to pay a fee to turn it into actual dollars, and then they got to pay a fee to send it to a bank account, and then they got to wait 7 days. Like the light bulbs that happen around the experience of converting cryptocurrency into dollar bills in your hand that you can use at the grocery store, that's something that everybody needs to learn, needs to experience one time. And most of the time, because I'm planning on keeping the money in crypto, I don't convert it all the way to dollars because it's so cumbersome right now to make it crypto, make it dollars, and it's expensive. I don't know if you have a different process. I feel like we have kind of the same philosophy on that for like who we are, but anything to add?
No, and mine is a little bit fluid. It's not necessarily the same always. I mean, I'm a little bit atypical too, just in the fact that until very recently, I never really traded anything because I didn't want to be sitting there staring at a chart all the time, obsessing over, minuscule price movements and then feeling stressed. Like I did that at the very beginning, in 2016, 2017, when I started looking at crypto, that's how I was looking at it. And it was just so stressful that I was like, I'm not doing this anymore. And around that time, I just bought a bunch of Ethereum and I tucked it in a little wallet and I just didn't look at it for like 2 years. And then that was essentially my thesis. I bought a bag of a bunch of stuff that I cared about and dollar cost averaged in during the last cycle. And then I sold out of it on a centralized exchange and I got myself a tax form at the end and I sent it to my CPA and the whole thing was done and dusted, easy breezy.
Easy breezy, beautiful.
Yep. Then, throughout the last couple of years of, work, I've been paid in crypto more times than I've been paid in dollars. So I always just do the same thing. I send it to an exchange account that's already done that I know is going to send me a tax form. I sell it and I, direct transfer the US dollars that I sold it for to my bank account. Again, easy breezy. This year is really the first year that I've like sat down, opened a DEX, had a wallet connected to it, traded in and out, all that sort of stuff. And I keep a little, paper ledger of my swaps in, out.
A magic notebook, if you will.
Back and forth. And I use CoinGecko to track portfolio balances and all that kind of stuff. But same thing, so it changes, it depends on what I'm doing. But, generally, I was always just like selling in and out of stuff. But really this cycle, I've leaned way more heavily into swapping to like Daniel was talking about, like, okay, well, I want to do something over on this network right now. So I'm going to bridge this from this to that and trade it in and out of this or whatever. Do I miss the Coast Guard?
I think picking an ecosystem is underrated.
What?
I said I think picking an ecosystem is underrated. Not FOMOing into everything, and just having some bridges, but finding an ecosystem you like for this moment, and then like Daniel said, you sense it's getting hot somewhere else, make a plan, move, kind of thing. Alex, I was gonna when you answered that question, do I miss the Coast Guard? I was gonna actually ask you to pop over to the chat and say, do you have a blown up version of this picture that Matt complimented you on that I can just display on the screen, because I want people to see. I think a lot of our viewers may not have gotten to be with you when you were riding on a helicopter.
Yeah, I don't know. That's that picture is from a friend of mine. I think I literally only have the screenshot of it on my phone. I would have to dig.
Well, maybe it should be a POAP in the future. And speaking of things we need to do in the future, if you're in the chat right now and you don't follow Kenneth, then please give Ken a follow. He's excellent. Kenneth Suna is a great teacher for people who want to learn to invest or accelerate their learning journey in traditional investing, stocks, uh, mutual funds. He is the man. He's not going to tell you something blustery. He'll be frank with you. He's not going to give you any kind of twisted advice or try to sell you stuff. And is a content creator we're supporting. We've talked about it a couple of times. I think it'd be great. Maybe before we do the halvening, you see what I said there? That we have Ken on to talk to people about like what we've seen, in the traditional markets alongside like the release of the crypto ETF, that kind of stuff. I just would be glad to have a conversation with you anytime, Ken. But we would definitely benefit from your knowledge. So I'm gonna have to send him a DM. So we've got Ken we need to get on the show. We had Daniel on the show today. We got to get Mac back. We got to get Kagan. If there's a crypto creator, someone adjacent you want to see us do on the show, then let us know that. We're about to go do some work on the show to bring you some more cool, better content, more value, make it easier for you. For now, check out the Discord. Soon I'll stop saying this because we'll have an easier process. It's discord.gg/the-many. If you have trouble finding it, there's a link tree and a beacons page in our bios. You can find that link there. You can find all the follow links, including the link to YouTube, which is at faceless_labs. Later today, I'm going to have this week's episodes up on YouTube. Mihir is going to do some wizardry, and hopefully we'll get a couple of clips, stuff like that.
Yep.
And if you have feedback, suggestions, good jokes, words of wisdom, we love it. Otherwise, we're going to be back here at least Monday at 7 a.m. Central Standard Time. We might take a day or two off next week, depending on how the work goes, because we want to put everything in a nice package, make it easier for the sponsors, make it easier for the people who would tune in the future, the many who have yet to join us, and all of you. So.
And if you're watching right now, and this is the last time because Congress finally bans TikTok today, whatever the current rumor mill says is going to happen, we are on YouTube. Just search Faceless Labs. It's the top result. You'll find it there. So if they rug us and delete TikTok from the United States, this live show will port over and we'll start streaming on YouTube every morning instead.
Yeah, sounds good. Thank you all for being here. Thank you for your attention, for your questions, and just for being you. Alex, I hope you have a great weekend. I hope you do too. And don't forget the secret word is 1G, big Pepe. All lowercase, 1G. Are you typing it in?
Yep, there you go.
I can't believe you wrote me like that. Big Pepe, baby. Go get your POAPs. And until next time, my friends, rise up.